Hi Tina, today we're going to talk about knives, scrapers, and blades. First knife we're going to talk about is a putty knife. Putty knife has a metal blade and a handle. This blade is flexible to force putty into your nail holes. This is another putty knife. Same again, blade, handle. This one is also flexible, but not as flexible. There are various flexibility in these knives for various different purposes, and different people have a different preference of what they like to work with. They do make these wider. I do not have one. If I needed a wider blade than this to scrape something with, I would use this. This is called a 5-in-1 painter's knife. This knife has 5 purposes. The first being the scraper blade on the top. The second, this little sharp edge is a knife used for scoring. This part here, this flat part, is used for opening paint cans. There you go. The brass end is used for knocking the paint cans back. This is a 5-in-1 painter knife. The 5th use is this semicircle. The semicircle is used to scrape excess paint off of a used roller when you're cleaning up. I will show you how to use that when we do our paintings video. But this is a painter's knife. However, it is an invaluable tool in the world of carpentry. I use it all the time for a lot of different purposes. That brings us to our razor knives, or box cutters, or utility knives, or whatever you want to call them. You may have seen something that looks like this. This particular one, you have to turn this little dial on the top, open your handle, remove your blade, insert your blade in the front, close down your handle, tighten your little dial, there you go. So you use your knife, you cut with this knife. Now, the problem with this knife is your blade is sticking out. That's not safe, that's not good. So what you have to do whenever you get done using this knife is you undo your little dial, you open your handle, you remove your blade, put it in the little storage compartment in the back, close your handle back down, do your little dial. Good, right? That's a bit of a pain. I agree. So, they made something else. They made a folding locking razor knife. Okay. Uses the same type of blades. And to remove this blade, you pull this little lever, little button, you open this little door, remove your blade. Put your blade back in, close your little door, snaps back in. Okay? Now the way this one works is you have to press this button. This is your locking mechanism, unlocking, and you press it, it unlocks the knife and allows you to close it. Keep your fingers out of the way. There you go. Okay? On the back of this knife, there's this clip. That is to put it on your belt. They make these particular locking razor knives, various different colors, various different shapes, various different ways of removing the blade, but they all sort of work the same. This particular blade we remove by pressing this button, removing this blade, press the button, put the blade back in. Again, our locking mechanism, we press it to release the blade. There we go. Same again on the back. He's got a clip for your belt. Now, here's another locking, folding razor knife. The way he works is you pull back this little lever, you open this little door, and there's your blade. Again, put your blade back in, close down your little door, close your lever, blade is secure. Right, now this particular knife is missing a screw right in there. You see that? It's missing. Now, because that is missing, that is the screw that is holding part of the locking mechanism in. And because that's missing, the blade doesn't always stay in the locked position. So maybe if you were using this knife, it might close on you. That wouldn't be good, right? So basically, because that screw is missing, essentially, this knife is junk. I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't give it to someone else to use. It's just not safe. So, as pretty as it is, basically it's junk. I keep it for sentimental purposes only. Now, when you're using a razor knife, you always want to cut away from yourself. Away. Cut away, right? Because imagine you were cutting towards yourself and you slipped. You're going to cut yourself. That's not a good thing. Always, always cut away from yourself. Okay? Now, all of these tools are fairly inexpensive. I probably paid $10 for this. I probably paid $5 for this. You pick what you need. They all have a little bit different need for whatever job you're doing. And as always, and especially with any of these knives, including your putty knife, you can cut yourself. Your razor knife, you can cut the piss out of yourself with. So, always be safe. Always be safe. Always look out for yourself and anyone else that might be around you. Always wear your eye protection. And I think that pretty much wraps up our knives, scrapers, and blades videos. I do hope you learned something today. If you have questions, you call me. Otherwise, I love you, and I will talk to you next time. And Misty left.